The Ascent's release date is quickly approaching, and I can't wait to get my Cyberpunk fix in. Hey guys, Kai here, and this is 5 things you need to know. Starting with number 5, the story. Players will play as a slave worker to the mega corporation called the Ascent Group, in a future dystopian world called Velis. When the corporation mysteriously collapses, the world descends into a chaotic free-for-all, where all districts begin the struggle of survival. Starting off as a nobody, we will be tasked to defend off gangs and rival corporations from taking control. But more importantly, solving the mysterious disappearance of the board. And just maybe, we try to free the arcology from its corporate shackles. I don't really know why our character would want to help out. Maybe it's a promised huge paycheck. But nevertheless, we get to use awesome weapons on baddies. Coming in at number 4 is the world. Velis is a living, breathing world. As you travel through the arcology, which is a multi-layered gigantic building, where the poor live on the lower levels and the rich live on the top. You will notice the NPCs in the Ascent are talking amongst themselves, doing business, and will even interact with you. To make explaining easier, I'll read a quote from the art director, Tor Frick. "We are putting a lot of effort into making the world feel like a real place, with everything from people going about their business and interacting with the world to traffic flying by. Random events taking place in the world, so when you return to a location you have visited before, things are slightly different, and things like that." The game takes place in a dystopian megacity, so the game and world required quite a lot of moving pieces to feel like more of a city, and not just a fancy static backdrop. We really enjoyed building worlds, and especially ones you can interact with, so we have tried to keep as much as possible in world. You buy health packs from vending machines, which you can also hack or destroy. Vendors are not just a menu, they all have their handcrafted shops and things on display. Progressing in the story or completing side missions will have an impact on this world. Areas will go from hostile to friendly, or vice versa, things like that. The Ascent is in fact an open world game with lots of exploration, highly destructible environments to bring in more combat immersion, and my favorite part, the music. The music in this game just adds that perfect little addition of atmosphere. Moving on to number 3 is character customization. Players will be able to change anything from their biology like gender, face, skin color, and tattoos to the colors of their gear. Where players can really make their character their own is with the skills and augmentations. The Ascent will feature 4 main attributes: cybernetics, motorics, biometrics, and frame. Players will use skill points, which will increase stats such as critical hit rate, weapon handling, accuracy, max health, and so on. Simultaneously, this will increase one of the 4 main attributes. This is important because the 4 attributes are connected to the augmentations. Think of them as the special abilities for your character. They do grant minor abilities like being able to have a melee slam ability, auto aim like an aimbot, or a bot that loots for you as you endlessly slaughter. But these also increase to huge abilities, like being able to spray 3 missiles or even 18. Coming in at number 2 is gear and combat. As in any role-playing game, gear is a staple, and the Ascent is no different. But a huge difference from other games is every weapon, armor, ability, tactical equipment are handcrafted with authored names, descriptions, stats, and functionality. Here is a more in-depth quote about gear from game director Arcade Berg. "We don't rely on randomness, and I hope it'll pan out well. The weapons are spread wide in their usage with some high precision, other spray and pray, or blast to the face kind of deal. There are also more exotic or excessive varieties. They can be upgraded with the resources you find through the game, and the more dangerous areas you get access to and manage to survive in. The rarer the upgrade components you can find to upgrade them even further. You don't find a pistol that's the same, but better than another. Weapons, armors, and other types of loot are spread out throughout the world, with more dangerous areas generally offering higher quality stuff. But there's also a chance of fallen foes dropping items, so make sure not to try and just circumvent a fight. Having great gear most certainly won't guarantee success in the arcology. To be successful in your mission, players will need to master the art of cover, to outsmart and evade enemy attacks to give themselves a tactical advantage. While the Ascent looks like a crazy shooter, when really looking into it, it's very strategic, and players will need to make sure they have the right gear for the right occasion. And coming in at number 1 is that the Ascent is a single experience. For now. While the Ascent looks like Diablo with a cyberpunk theme, there will not be any infinite modes within the game. It's rumored to be about a 15 to 20 hour campaign. The devs are focusing on a single great experience rather than an infinite one. We're focusing on making sure that the experience you get playing through the game is the best it can be. We've used procedural tools outside of the game to help us create and curate the vast amount of content you can find in the game. But you play in a set world where a lot of loot and secrets are determined. Having said that, we do have additional systems on top for unique encounters happening in the world, to make sure that when you travel through already explored areas, you always have a chance of finding something new. So there will still be random encounters and new experiences to be found. With so many companies trying to go so big at launch, I am honestly glad that they are hyper-focusing on a single story and world. This isn't to say they won't support the game with additional content afterwards. I can definitely see the devs providing additional content with a successful game. The Ascent is shaping up to be the game Cyberpunk 2077 thought it was gonna be. After the horrendous issues Cyberpunk 2077 had, I can see the Ascent scratching that itch for players who want a deep world set within a cyberpunk setting. The Ascent is dropping July 29th for Xbox Series S and X, and Xbox One and PC, and will feature on Xbox Game Pass. PC players will need 8GB of memory, but it's recommended having 16. Players will need a GTX 660 or a Radeon R9 3090X, recommended GTX 2070. You will need an Intel i5 4670K or AMD FX 8350, but you need an i7 or equivalent. And the game will require 36GB of storage. The game will feature drop-in co-op for up to 4 players online or offline, making the Ascent a great couch shooter. And what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. And if you like this video, please click like. Thanks for watching, and peace out.